today we are going to start with respect to the formation of soil mechanics. In last class we have already seen uh, about the soil types and all. So let us see what is the formation of soil. So from the figure number 1, if you can see, there is the disintegration of rocks. There are three types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rock. So these types of rocks first disintegrate and the formation is with respect to the soil. Then if you can see the decomposition of organic matters, that also comes to a formation of soil. So when the position of rock is there, three types of rock: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks, it is having the weathering. Then weathering is the effect which gives rise to the mineral grains, and from these mineral grains the soil solids are formed, which are having both mineral grains as well as decayed organic matter. Then soil forming rocks. Rock is the outer rocky shell or crust of the earth. Igneous rock cooled from molten state, for example granite, diorite, basalt. Sedimentary rocks deposited from a fluid medium, limestone, sandstone, shell. And metamorphic rock formed from a pre-existing rock by the action of heat and pressure. So quartzite, schist and shale are the examples. We have already seen the forms like granite we use in our kitchens, and you have also seen the limestone, sandstone, quartzite. So all these are the examples of these three types of rocks. Let us see what is rock mechanics and geology. You should be aware of geological cycle. It is very simple. First it is a rock, then million of years of disintegration, formation of soil is there. When soil settle down again and again, it forms rock. So this is the geological cycle: rock to soil, soil to rock. So what is it? It is nothing but the modification of earth's surface, destroys the old rocks, create new rocks, add complexity to the ground surface and forms soil. So this is how the rocks to the soil is converted, and again from soil to the rock is converted. Now what is rock mechanics? Theoretical and applied science of mechanical behavior of rock and rock masses. Compared to geology, it is that branch of mechanics concerned with the response of rock and rock masses to the force fields of their physical environment. When this type of weathering effect is there and mechanical weathering is there, then the rock mechanics come into an existence, and their physical quantity with respect to the environmental sciences which leads to the rock masses and many more are known as rock mechanics. So these are the rocks form: volcanic eruption, formation of lava and the molten matter. When cools down, the rocks are formed. This is the rock cycle. By the weathering effect, they are transported, deposited, sedimentary rocks are formed, then they are molten stages, they change to the metamorphic rocks, again the evaluation, and igneous rocks are formed with respect to the molten method or magma and lava. Then if you can see, there are three types of rocks: igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. So let us see what are igneous rocks. These are the rocks formed when molten rocks cools and hardens, called fire rocks. When the volcanic eruption is there, the lava and magma starts to flow, goes in the ocean, and years together when they settle down, cools down, then the big rocks are formed. So these are the types of igneous rocks: granite, scoria, pumice and obsidian. The sedimentary rocks, again made as the layer of material settle into each other over time. They are created from hardened sediment. See, the uplift, exposure of air is taken, then weathering is there, transportation is there, deposition, euthification is there. Then all these settle down on the surface and the rocks are formed, which are known as your metamorphic sedimentary rocks. So these are the types of sedimentary rocks: conglomerate, breccia, sandstone, and shell. Again, there is a metamorphic rocks, rocks that have been changed physically, structurally, or mineralogically by heat, pressure, or chemically active fluids. Metamorphic means to change form. So from sedimentary rocks, they have the metamorphism, and the metamorphic rocks are formed by melting and changing the form. These are the types of metamorphic rocks: slate, schist, marble, and gneiss. Then scope of rock mechanics in civil engineering, mining engineering, petroleum engineering, geology, and geophysics. Now, where are the application of rock mechanics? Mines, when you have the deep excavations, then tunnels for road and railways, and underground stations which are having power stations, storage, and recreationals. Then energy development, petroleum, geothermal, nuclear power plants, waste deposits, and energy storage caverns. Now, various types of foundations. So this is the chart of classification of foundation. There are only two types of foundations. One is your shallow foundation, and again is your deep foundation. When your soil safe bearing capacity is very good, then we go for number of footings, small footings, which is known as your shallow foundation. And where your soil is very weak, for example black cotton soil and other expansive soils, then you have to go for pile foundation, which is known as your deep foundation. So in shallow foundation there are lot many foundations. If you can see in the chart, wall footing, column footing. In wall footing there are two types: simple wall footing and step footing. In column footing there are four types: isolated footing, combined footing, mat or raft footing, strap beam footing. Again, isolated footing there are three types: simple footing, step footing, and slope footing. In combined footing there are again two types: rectangular footing or trapezoidal footing. In deep foundation there are pile foundation and pier foundation. And in pile foundation again there are two types: friction piles and end bearing piles. Let us see one by one. These are the figures of your simple foundation. First is the simple footing, second is your step footing, and third is your slope footing. Uppermost you have your step footing, and in the lower part you can see the bearing pile foundation, and second is your friction pile foundation. Now second, what is your superstructure? The part of the building which is above ground level is known as superstructure. A part of superstructure located between the ground level and the floor level is known as your plinth. Plinth is the portion of the structure between the surface of the surrounding ground and level of the floor immediately above the ground. That is, at the road level, if you are having your ground floor, that in civil engineering language is known as your plinth level. Above that, ground floor, next is your first, second, etc. So there are two types of constructions. One is your load bearing structure and another is your frame structure. So first figure, if you can see, is the load bearing structure. If the slab is rested on the walls itself, those type of structures are known as your load bearing structures. But if the slab is on your columns and beams, then that is known as your frame structure. Next is your tunneling. Tunnels are artificial underground passages opened at both ends, construction for different purposes. Required for highways, railways, severages, water supply, public utilities, and canals. Necessitated when open excavation of strata becomes uneconomical, not only construction cost but for maintenance as well. Geological considerations or ground properties before constructing any tunnel project. There are some or the other factors which we have to take care when we construct a tunnel, and the geology plays most important part, whether the soil is good, rocky or bad. So how the tunnel can be constructed. So some are the points that a civil engineer has to take into account before building the tunnel. So let us see what is the first point. The engineering properties of a rock generally depend on not only on the matrix structure formed by the minerals, but also imperfections in the structure such as voids, pore space, cracks, inclusions, grain boundaries, and weak particles. If these are the problems, then the construction of the tunnel becomes very difficult. So we have to take care of all these aspects before construction of a tunnel. Second point, pore spaces are largely made up of continuous irregular capillary cracks separating the mineral grains. If there are vacuums or a cavity inside there, then the construction of tunnel is very difficult. So these may lead to major cracks and the construction may take major hazards. So we have to take care of these cracks by filling these by the grouts. The engineering properties, physical discontinuities are present in all rock masses as a result of geological activity. Introduction of defects into the rock mass due to the human activities that alter the properties of the rock material. Mechanical breaks in the rock have zero or low tensile strengths, increase rock deformability, and provide pathways for water to flow. So these all are the points that have to take care. Then transportation tunnel cross section. These are the three types of tunnels which can be constructed as per the requirement. First is your circular, second is your horseshoe, and third is vertical wall arch roof. So this is the tunnel cross section which is having the ground surface. Then there is a gap of overburden cover. Then you have a crown. There is a ventilation provided near the crown. Total height and width is decided, and then altitude elevation is also decided. So tunneling through rocks, first method is full face method. Next is your heading and bench system. And third is cantilever car dam method. In all these three methods, there are different dimensions of the holes and the width and height, whatever given is mentioned here. So next is this is the Asian method of digging tunnel. Before there were not big equipments, so when this was done, the holes were made at particular intervals, and then a tunnel was constructed, and then the hole were closed at a required depth. Advantages of tunneling. Tunnels are more economical than open cuts beyond certain depths. Tunnels avoid disturbing or interfering with surface life and traffic during construction. Tunnels prove to be cheaper than bridges or open cuts to carry public utility services like water, sewer, and gas. If tunnels are provided with easy gradients, the cost of hauling is decreased. In case of aerial warfare, and bombing of cities, the tunnels would grant better protection as compared to the bridges. So these are the most important advantages of tunneling. This is a picture of one tunnel. It's a roadway. This is with respect to the construction. This is for railways. Thank you for this. Today we have completed the second part of unit number 2, and will come with first and respective parts in the next class. Thank you for today, students.